Welcome to Lockdown Learner. Today we are having Saurabh Thakur who have done Google Summer of Code in 2019. So he will be sharing his experience on that and we will be asking some questions from him. So Saurabh, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Saurabh Thakur and currently I'm a backend engineer at Smallcase Technologies.
So Saurabh, what is Google Summer of Code?
Google Summer of Code is a program started by Google where multiple open source organizations take part and there are multiple projects and Google what part Google plays is that Google funds these organizations by paying the intern fees or the internship stipend of the students who participate and contribute in these organizations.
Okay, so how to prepare for Google Summer of Code?
So basically what happens in Google Summer of Code is that these multiple open source organizations have multiple projects. So to start preparing for them, basically you have to start working on a project. And by project, it means is that you have to like start building something, or you should be able to work on the already existing open source projects. And Google Summer of Code gives a chance to all the students to participate in Google Summer of Code and also earn like a good prize money. And how Google Summer of Code works is that when like you as a student start contributing to open source projects and you start working on the issues, you keep contributing in things, and it is up to the organization to select you, or like it goes on like that.
So there is any particular language or a technology we should know before applying to the Google Summer of Code?
No, not really. So there are like multiple projects. So obviously there are multiple languages. It is up to you which language you are comfortable in and what projects are suitable according to your own skills. So whenever a language plays a part, like I don't think that language is a barrier here, because if you know JavaScript, that's okay. There are a lot of projects for that. Even if you know C++, again there are a lot of projects. So there is no specific language which is important. If you say, it is just up to the student in what project he's contributing to.
Okay, so what is the stipend for Google Summer of Code?
So stipend varies from country to country according to the purchasing power parity. So for India it is 3,000 US dollars, but in US you can get up to 6,000 US dollars.
Okay, so how difficult was your this internship Google Summer of Code?
As like it is not about difficulty, it is we can say it was okay, because actually I had all the things planned already what I will be doing in Google Summer of Code, and like we have to make a proposal where we have to tell each and everything whatever we'll be doing in week 1, week 2, and accordingly. And so that was pretty clear. The only problem or an issue comes is that whenever you get stuck into a problem, so then you have to like keep researching on things and just make it work. And you can also take help from your mentors. They are very supportive mentors, so it helps a lot.
So what kind of work you have done in Google Summer of Code?
I was a part of Australian open source organization, and there is a project called Carbon Footprint API under them. I developed and maintained like further features, and also worked on the deployment of the application. So I added some features. If you go to the website, you will see a heat map with all the user activity. And also, if we see from the deployment perspective, all the work was manual. Now I have like automated it a lot with the help of GitLab, CI and CD. So that was my main contribution. You can see the whole list. It is present on the GitLab repository.
Okay. So there is any guidelines for those who are going to apply for Google Summer of Code?
Okay, so as far as guidelines go is that I think that a student should, first of all, whenever a student comes to college, he's in first year, he starts learning things. He should just keep focusing on the basic, like he should go in depth to the things with learning basics. Okay, he should like grasp the basics very in like a very good manner, and he should be very good with them. After that, what you can start is like, if you are learning a language, you have to know the basics first, like what is a variable, how a loop works, what is a function. Okay. After that comes a part is when you have to make your own project. Okay. So I'm giving the whole timeline, how it works. So then when it comes to making your own project, then you have to decide what language you have to learn, what extra things you have to learn, what extra frameworks, what will help you in future with the project. So people start learning Android development, web development, things like that, which will help them to build their own projects. Here comes the interesting part. So making these projects, make them prepare for Google Summer of Code in a way. So what happens is a student makes a project, uploads it to GitHub. So it kind of making, like, he's kind of making his own his or her own profile, and it also helps in inculcating the open source development behavior in the student, like how to create issues, how to solve the issues, how to do like how to use GitHub basically, how to use Git properly. So when you learn these things, you are like preparing for Google Summer of Code. So it happens like that. It happened with me like this. Okay. After that, what happens is you start when the timeline comes, like when you're ready, you are in your second year or third year, and you are ready that even if you are in first year, you can apply in any of the year. The eligibility criteria is like you have to be a college student. Okay. So it is up to the student whenever he feels ready for Google Summer of Code. And by ready, what I mean here is that if you are able to work on any open source project, and you can like keep developing, you can find issues, you can fix the bug, then I can say that you are ready. And after that, what happens is the Google Summer of Code timeline, the application timeline starts from February. Okay. So the students start finding the organizations. Okay. And you as a student also go out and see which organizations are there, what are the various, what projects I can work on and I can contribute, which are like under my skill set. So you start going it in that manner. So here I would say that start doing this in early November. Okay. Why I am saying that is because when you start contributing early, you are like giving your name in the organization. You are telling the people you are in the project that I am a proper contributor here. I am contributing from a long time. Like when March or Feb comes, then it is a really long time. 2 to 4 months is a pretty huge amount of time. After then you can, like, if you start contributing from November. Okay. So then I think when February comes, when you start filling out the application, then you might have like contributed some major things. You might have solved some various major bugs. You might have also contributed like in a very good manner, which is helpful to the organization. So you have got a very strong hold during the application period. Okay. So that's like one of the things which I think is a student should do if he is going to try to get into GSOC. And all of these things, if you come in February, okay, like the list of all the open source organizations is available on February. Okay, so if you come at that time only, maybe you are late, then it's also fine, but maybe you have to work really hard, because then there are a lot of students where like a lot of students are coming all together and working on all the issues. Like there are 10 issues and 10 students are working on it. There is a lot of like mix and match, who will work on which issue. Okay, so it is good for you if you have a stronghold from November only. Like it was like very helpful for me. So I think that is how a student should proceed. After that, like after you have chosen the organization you have to work for, you can like search the previous year list. Okay, so how I did was like I searched the previous year 2018 list, which organizations were there, because the organization list is available from February for the current year. Okay, so I saw that these organizations have a scope of coming in this year also. So I took a shot with Aussie. I found the API project really interesting. So I started contributing with that. But it also might happen that maybe your project might not get selected, right? So what you can do is that you can select some other project from that organization only. So you don't have to worry that your project wasn't selected. You have worked for 4 months even more and still your project wasn't selected, so now what you will do? That's not to worry. The organization will see that you have worked dedicatedly on some other projects. Okay. After that, like after selecting the organization, the product, the important part comes is the application period. Okay. At that moment, you have to like build a very like lucrative kind of application where you will tell the organization how you are very good for them, how you can be really helpful, how you are going to improve the project further, what things you can solve better than the other applicants. So I think like that will be really good if you make a very good application. Like I can link my proposal. You guys can go through that. And I also think that it was very helpful for me to get selected in GSOC. And after that, one more suggestion is that after filling out the proposal, most of the students, what they do is they stop contributing to the organization. Like they are, we have contributed a lot. Now we have filled the application, they'll see it. But that's not what you should do. If you are dedicated, you should keep working on the project, like on a weekly basis. You can do little things. Even if you are working on something, you can keep contributing to the project. Okay. And also if you are like not sure that this organization will take you, so some students, what they also do is that they contribute in multiple organizations. So they can work in various projects. It is up to the students like how much he can take in and how much he can contribute. So after that, keep contributing to the organization even after the proposal period. And after that, you have to just wait for the selection.
Can work on more than one project.
Yeah, like just think of it like that. Maybe the chances are because the organization gets very little number of seats. Okay, so this year also there were only 1199 students selected for GSOC for all the organizations in total. So you have to make sure, or you have to increase your chances. So how you can do that is like maybe my organization this year we got 10 to 11 seats, and like other organizations also get like 5 seats. So it is like very the boundary is really thin of getting selected. Okay, the chances are really thin. So you have to increase your chances, and how you can do that is you can contribute in various organizations. It is up to you. If you can contribute, you can, and I think you should, because it increases your chance.
So you are learning in GSOC?
Okay, so like I learned a lot of things. First, but I think the major learning was how to work with multiple people. So like in open source community, I have to work with multiple people. I had to give my mentor all the details of what I'm doing. I have to convey all the things, and I have to work in an open source manner where if the user creates any user creates an issue, I have to look into it. And also there were some things which I didn't know before. I didn't know how to set up a CI/CD with GitLab. So I had to learn that. I had to keep reading the documentation. And so yeah, there are a lot of things which you learn during Google Summer of Code. It is up to the work you are doing and the work you are willing to do.
Okay. So only BE, Bachelor of Engineering, CSC can apply for it, or any other branch like BSc, kind of branch?
Yeah. So the cool thing about Google Summer of Code is that anybody with any background, and they also don't look at your grades. So even people doing honors in mathematics and economics, they also take part in Google Summer of Code from various universities and institutions. The only eligibility criteria is that you should be a student, and by that it means that you should be a college student. First of all, you should be 18 plus, and you should be either you should be doing graduation, post graduation, PhD. It's just that you should be registered with a deemed university or institution. That's the only eligibility.
Okay. So Saurabh, how many times you have applied for GSOC?
I applied for one time only. We can apply multiple times to Google Summer of Code, but you can only be selected for 2 times at most. So you can't get selected for more than 2 times. But yeah, you can try as many times as you want.
So there is any suggestion for those who are going to apply for GSOC? Basically for first year students,
Okay, so for first year students, it like totally depends on your skill set. If you are ready, just like I said already, if you are ready and you think that you can start working on open source projects, then it's very well and good. You can start contributing to open source projects. But for the first year students who are not ready and who don't even know what GSOC is and how to contribute, then I think they should like start working on their skill set, start developing on like their own projects. It will help them a lot. And then like after finally they should start going out and start looking for the open source projects. And that is not necessary that these projects should be coming under GSOC. You can start developing to any open source project. So that will be really helpful for the first year and even the even for any student.
Like sort of there is like freshers come to the college, like some of the seniors advise to them to like be chill, like you are only in first year, there are like 2 to 3 year more, so don't do anything in first year, only you have to see the college and all. So they didn't advise on this.
Yeah, so that happened with me also. That's normal. You are coming from your hefty school education after giving your 12th examination. This is like normal to think about like that. But as a student, you should set some goals to achieve. You should be chilling. That's not an issue. You should be chilling the whole duration of your college time. But there should be some practical goals that you should set. Like you should know that if the college is teaching us this much, I should go ahead and set a little bit bar above than that. Like if college is teaching me C++, I can learn Python alongside that. Okay, so chill is fine and you should enjoy college life. But as I said, you should be having some proper mindset, what you want to do. And after 3 years, where do you see yourself? And just keep like how I was really like what helped me during college time was I kept looking at what my seniors are doing. I kept looking at various people who got either selected for like good companies, and I saw their profile, what they were doing and what they used to do during college life, that they got this successful result. And I like somewhat tried to follow their path. And I think that there should be an example, like because freshers don't know what to do during college. There are like a lot of them. I'm not saying that all of them, but a lot of them don't know what to do. So there should be like they should go out and follow good people like who have done like who are their seniors and are doing good, and they should learn from them that what are they doing, and they should also start thinking in a manner that they also want to get to that standard, and they should start working accordingly to that. Yeah, that's how I work.
Sort of in first year, mostly freshers think like there's a spoon feeding kind of thing, like our teacher is not good, like they are not teaching
Okay.
us like C++ in a good way, and not like they are teaching not like a full syllabus. They are not able to solve the problems, like hard problems some teachers are not able to solve. So do you believe in this kind of thing, like students should do a hard work by own, or like teacher should take like hold his hand and like then do like this kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, so actually here the thing is that when you think about it, everything is in your hand. Like teachers, there is some way where the teachers will not come up to the standard. Like they will teach, but they are told to teach and what they know. But as I said, that you have to go and learn one thing ahead of
By
ahead
your
of that, than that. So
hmm.
how it like if the like teacher also can't help you in that, right? There is some particular curriculum set for the college studies also. So as I said that you should start learning by yourself. Like in the coming years you will know that teachers won't be able to help you, and you will be there and you will be googling stuff and you will be learning all the things by yourself only. Like teachers might be there to help you with some doubts where they can clear the doubts, but yeah, most of the time you will be the one who will be helping yourself. So just hard working is like just start working on yourself. Okay, be the one like to go out and like
Explore the
be a better
network.
someone. Like this is a dialogue, but yeah, be a better someone by learning new things. So don't be a like part where it comes is spoon feeding. It is not only the teacher's fault, it is also maybe your fault also, that you are not doing something extra.
If
Yeah,
like
so
if
you
someone is depending on a teacher or a college, like he or she is building walls around him or her. because you have
Yeah.
to see beyond
Yeah,
these
kind
walls
of. You are
also.
like constricting yourself to the college curriculum. Like you can do
Yeah,
extra. There is a lot of extra time else, like other than the college time also, right?
yeah.
So you can chill and you can also learn a lot of new things.
Okay, it goes same as like IIT when we are preparing for IIT JEE mains. Like it goes same for that. Like we are not dependent on the school teachers only. We are having a coaching from outside, so it's same like that thing. We have not depend on a teacher. We have to think that out of the wall also.
Yeah, you have to like
Hmm.
help yourself only. That's how you will go ahead in life.
Okay. So
And
thank you for
also,
being the part of Lockdown Learner. So any last suggestion you would like to give? Anything you want to say?
no, actually, I think you are doing already very good in what you are doing. And I think students are getting like really helpful tips and knowledge from your channel. And I hope and you will keep doing the good work you are doing currently.
Okay.
Kudos for that.
Thank you, Saurabh.